Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter. This is Peter Fiction, the place where we do not have the brains for literary fiction. Welcome back to another week, another video. Today I will be doing episode 3 of my series where I create a Taylor Swift inspired story. You can watch episodes 1 and 2 in my channel before this. In the past 2 videos, I have created my story idea. I have explained my process of how I come up with it. And in the second episode, I created my main character for the story and I showed you the process of that. And in this video, I will be explaining my process of how I create the world for my story before drafting it. This is not a guide by any means. I just want to put out videos about my process now, and then maybe in the future I will make videos trying to improve these processes that I follow, because they're not perfect by any way. If you want to see a recap of both episodes, you can see it in the beginning and at the end of episode 2. I have 2 recaps. Without any further ado, let's create that world. Well, first of all, the world of your story can make it or break it. No matter what genre you're writing, even if you're writing a story of a knight that is trying to save his mother's chocolate chip cookie recipe along with his pet dragon from an evil overlord, or if you're simply writing a murder mystery story of a detective with snakeskin that is trying to solve a murder before she leads another layer of her skin for some reason. Your world needs to be realistic, needs to be based on real stuff that exists that people can relate. If not, the reader will not be able to understand your world and will not be able to put themselves in it. The reader needs to understand the choices that you make about your world and what they mean about the real world. What's your commentary about the real world? This is what should exist in your story. My 2 keywords that need to describe your world: unique and realistic. The world needs to be something that the reader will immerse themselves in, and for this reason it needs to be something that the reader has not experienced yet. This is what will hook the reader and will make them more inclined to explore the world that you have created in the pages. And if it's not realistic, the reader will lose their interest about your story and it will probably be a DNF. My biggest advice on world building is to create as many more details as possible so your world seems more well-rounded and more complete. Even if you end up not using those details, I'm sure that you will find a way to incorporate them, even if that is not in their initial form. Maybe it's a ritual, or it's a law, or a special greeting that the people in your story have between them. Anything, even a minor detail, can make your world more realistic and more interesting, so go for it. When I create my world, the first thing that I do is to select a song that will inspire me. Yes, I do that for other parts of my story creation process, but for the world part, I need as much inspiration as possible because I'm no architect and I cannot build a world from scratch so easily. I find it hard, but it's necessary. So I select a song. One song that really inspires me lately is A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman. I love that song for inspiration purposes. I totally suggest that you give it a listen, and if you're not inspired, then get out of here. I put on my music, get inspired, and then open my notebook and I divide the information that I need to come up with in 4 different categories. The first category is locations. It's pretty self-explanatory that your characters need to go places and you need to describe those places so the reader is aware of the character's surroundings, and when they're in the character's mind they can assess what is around them. 2 is the magic system. You know what that is. 3 is the lore, and that is the history of the world and what events happened in the past that shaped the reality that is during your story. And 4 is random stuff like the economy, politics, or religion, people, laws of nature, and all these interesting things. Now let's take each point at a time. Let's begin with locations. Locations is my least favorite to come up with because, as I said before, I'm no Ted Mosby. I cannot create National Goliath Bank, let alone an entire world. In most cases, I prefer creating my locations as I zero draft my story. Of course, I need some locations to start with, so I will give some examples of some possible locations that I might have in my Taylor Swift inspired story, in my Ivy story. By now, we have established that our main character, who I have not named, let's name her Taylor. Random name, I know. So Taylor lives in a village, and I need to describe how that village is. I think I imagine that village to be in the middle of the woods, like each house is part of a tree trunk. That maybe the tree trunk expands in a way and creates a square shape, or the shape of the house. You know what houses are shaped like. So people live inside the trunks, which, now that I think about it, may or may not be shaped like a house on the outside. Maybe they're enchanted and people like enter the tree trunk and it's a house, but on the outside it does not look like it. That's interesting. Maybe people like the shade that the trees provide, and for some reason maybe people are sensitive to the daylight, because let's say in this world the day is much longer than the night, and the shade that the trees create are very, very nice for the people that live there. Maybe nature is alive, and maybe people claim a tree to become their house, and if the tree accepts it, it becomes their house in a way. And this is a way of them helping each other, and maybe people give something back to the tree or to nature in general. Maybe even some houses are located in higher parts of the trees, not located on the ground, and people have ladders or ropes that they can use to reach higher parts. Or maybe they might have wooden bridges from tree to tree. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. Also, maybe they have, since they do not like daylight, and I think this agreement that they have with nature was not always there, so they had created an underground system of houses, and people lived underground, and the tunnels and all the passages that they had created are still there, but maybe they're used, maybe they're not used. Maybe this will be something that we can think about when we're creating the world's lore. I can envision an underground system with maybe it's full of flowers, that these flowers do not grow on the surface. Also, another location that I envision for this world is a huge meadow with very, very big flowers. Think of a flower big enough to fit two humans laying on top of it. And this image is very fairy tale-esque to me, and I think this would fit this world because flowers are very beautiful, and maybe they're even deadly. Maybe some of the flowers eat the people that they lay upon them, or something else, or they host parties in the flowers, or maybe these flowers are part of a ritual that people can participate in. And as we said in the previous video, there's the frozen waterfall that Taylor created when she left the sprites. And that location can be very beautiful if described correctly. Descriptions are so scary to me, but I'm working on it. These are a few locations that I came up with. Of course, as I zero draft, more locations will be required, so I will leave it to future Peter to solve it for now, because I think talking about specific locations may not be the best option for this video. So let's move on to more interesting stuff, like 2, magic system. For this world, I'm not sure if magic really exists. Maybe it's something only certain people can do, and since we are talking about a curse, that was placed on the woman's husband, whose name is Travis. Let's say, random name, I know. So yeah, how do curses work? Let's say that the type of magic that exists in this world is blood magic and some type of bond magic, a magic that is created with every bond that is formed. For example, if two people are married, they are bonded with magic, and this bond has special effects on the married couple. Or for a mother and child, maybe when a child is born, the bond that is created between the child and the parents gives the parents a power to locate their children 24/7. Maybe even have intuition about what the child wants, and maybe they can even listen to the child's thoughts until they get old enough to speak for themselves. Maybe when a couple gets married, the bond that is created does something to them. Maybe it boosts their sex life. That is a superpower, if you ask me. As for curses, let's say curses need blood to be set on a person. Maybe the strength of the curse depends on how violently the blood was extracted from the person that is being cursed. The more violent the extraction process was, the stronger the curse is. The only way to reverse a curse is by killing the person that set the curse, the witch, for example, in this story, who the witch's name, let's say, is Scooter Braun. Random name, I know. So the witch drinks the blood when she is setting the curse on a person, and when she dies, this blood comes out of the witch's body, and the curse is reversed. Is there any other type of magic in this world? Maybe there is elemental magic, or there used to be elemental magic, but when people started making agreements with nature and the magical creatures that are the voice of nature, maybe there was an agreement to restore the balance between the species. People would stop messing with elemental magic and leave everything that has to do with the elements to these creatures, and on the other side, the creatures would do anything in their power to compensate for what people have lost by being deprived of elemental magic. Maybe, for example, these creatures help with transportation or healing or boosting the people's crops and anything that people used elemental magic for. Of course, in order for me to have a fully fleshed magic system, I need to think of the weaknesses that the magic has or the limitations that the magic has. I do not want it to be overpowered, and I want it to be realistic. Again, the key word is realistic if you haven't figured it out. And for the sake of this video being as short as possible, I will not be mentioning more details about it, and maybe we will see more about the magic system when in the outline process and in the zero drafting process. As for my magical creatures, I want some creatures to exist in my world, like the sprites that we mentioned, but I want all the creatures that exist in this world to have some type of connection with the elements. For example, maybe some feathered creatures that have something to do with the air, or fire spitting fairies, or river sprites and forest sprites, and maybe wyverns, maybe feathered wyverns that control the air. Yeah. The third thing that I need to come up with is the lore of the world. As we mentioned before, there's an underground system that people used to live in. What if some people still used the underground system? Maybe these people are the ones that went rogue, and they're still using elemental magic even though it was decided not to. And these people hide in the chambers, or the passages that were the former houses of the people that live on the surface, on the trees now. And they're still practicing magic, and maybe there's rumors about them. Maybe they come out at night, and this is why people have asked for the night to be shorter than the day. Maybe They even abduct little children that they find on the surface out at night, and they train them to become elemental wizards and witches. Maybe even the flowers that exist in the tunnels and the passages underground are some type of weapon that these people are creating. Maybe each flower has a different purpose or some type of power, and they can use it against the people to overthrow them. And maybe this is why people on the surface go inside the underground system and chop off all the flowers. Maybe even the sun is draining these people that use elemental magic so it can make them stop using it. And this is why people leave underground now. And maybe even the witch Scooter Braun is part of this clan of people using elemental magic, and they're trying to do harm to other people. And there is this secret society of people that are only rumored to exist. Maybe they don't. There aren't actual witnesses that have seen these people walk around at night. Only children that have disappeared, and no one knows where they went. I think this would be an interesting point for my story. The final part is the random stuff like the economy and the laws and the religion and yada yada yada. I don't want to bore you with this stuff. I think this would be a more interesting concept to see as we write the story, and not now at this point. For the video, I mean, not for me. I will create the laws and the economy and stuff before starting zero drafting the story, but for the sake of this video not being super long, I think I will save this part for the zero drafting to give you an idea of how fleshed out the world is as I zero draft it, as I outline it. So yeah, this is my process. I tried to make it as simple as possible because this is not most people's cup of tea to watch. This was necessary for me to mention before moving on with the story. Hopefully, I will write it by the end of this series and I will post it somewhere. I don't know. And maybe once people read it, they can come back to the videos and find more interest in them to see my process. If you have reached this part of the video, again, thank you so much for watching. Your support is really appreciated. Thank you again for being here, for supporting me. I wish you have a great day ahead, or night, or whatever time it is that you're watching this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified about when I post new videos. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.